Alright fellas, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with black privilege. And we're going to talk about something a little bit different today. And we're going to be talking about skill in video games. And I'm not talking about nothing particular. This is just something I've had on can't talk today. Excuse me. Act like I'm clearing my throat here. But this is just something I've had on my mind for the past few weeks, maybe a few months. And is that whatever happened to like skill in video games? Like maybe I'm from I know I'm a part of an older generation of gamers, but I grew up during like the Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era, where, you know, a lot of the games they were legitimately cheating, you know, and you had to struggle through most of the games to actually beat them, and you had to be skillful at every game you played, otherwise you just wasn't beating it. You know, there was no checkpoints. Most of them didn't have any save points except RPGs. And a lot of the times they didn't have a password system where you could just input a password and jump right back to where you were. It was just, you know, you played it and beat it, and if you didn't beat it, guess what? Next time you wanted to play it, you're starting over. And gaming now, you know, nowadays seems to be in a whole different place. You have gaming developers trying to appease everybody rather than sticking to what they're good at, you know, sticking to their genre and building up and making famous what works for them. Prime example, let's say, take Halo for instance. Back in the day with Halo 3, Halo had like a certain formula. Then when Bungie made Reach, they tried to branch out and do more and try to make it more casual. And then with Halo 4, they took it a step, well, I can't really blame 343 for that, but they took it a step further, you know, tried to, you know, build on what was already set up by Bungie. And since that didn't work, and now with Halo 5, they're kind of toning it back and trying to change it again. And with Call of Duty, you know, even though it was the less skillful of, let's say, FPS games, it was more skillful in the fact than the newer ones, because you had to like earn your kill streaks. You know, you had to stay alive. Now, granted, with a lot of the older CODs, the kill streaks fed into each other, but you didn't have a lot of the easier stuff that you have now, where you have like the create a class system where you can put attachments on every gun to make every gun perfect, you know, if you wanted it to. You didn't have all of the perks you can preset on your stuff to make you pretty much can do everything. And they put perks in the game that alleviate that skill gap that used to be there. Whereas before, you know, like you had what's the one perk? You had like awareness, I think is what they call it in this. But I know they've had it in most of the games, but they seem to, and that's one thing I hate about Call of Duty, is that every game things aren't consistent because they have 3 different developers, and those developers don't carry over fixes and stuff from game to game. So it becomes disjointed, and they gotta fumble through and fix the same problems year in, year out. But over time, it feels like the games are getting easier. Developers aren't making the games more skillful. Most developers actually taking the skill out of the games, and they're putting in stuff to alleviate that skill gap to make, I guess, more casual people play them. And I can't really blame them as a company. You know, from a business standpoint, you want the people to, you know, you want more people to buy your game. That's understandable. So I can't blame, you know, I can't blame them from a company standpoint. But from a player standpoint, from a gamer standpoint, I think they're fucking up, YouTube. I really do. Because now you have like a whole generation of gamers who, let's say, started gaming with the 360, who now feel like they should be entitled to everything in a game without earning it. Prime example, With Call of Duty, everybody's bitching that skill-based why skill-based matchmaking in the game? You know, I've never understood that. Now, granted, I know everybody plays for different reasons. Everybody has fun their own, different way. But to me personally, if you guys go back and watch any one of my videos, you will never find me bitching about skill, in a game. I like, when I jump into a Call of Duty lobby, I want a full clan to be there because I want to be there. I want to be that guy that ruins their YouTube videos, that's sneaking around the map, fucking up their streaks, I love when people check out my KD and they be like, oh, your KD is shit, you're bad at the game. Yes, I want my KD to be the worst thing you ever see because I like to be underestimated. I like to be that guy that's going to go in there and wreck your shit without you realizing it. That's what I like. Now, granted, some games I do it, some games I don't. I'm not saying I'm the best at the game, but to me, it's all about that win at the end of the day. I want to win the match. It's because regardless of how well you do, if I get that W and you get to hold that L, I can rub it in your face. Now, granted, I'm not one of those guys who like to talk shit in lobbies or anything like that. I normally just, keep my mouth shut and stick to my own. But that drive to be better and then stomp the enemy team because you were better than them, I have that in full force. I love that. That strive to overcome good players to be a better player yourself, I have that in spades. And I just don't see how people have that anymore. It's like this new 360 generation of gamers that have, let's say, picked up when Call of Duty became popular in its heyday. It's almost like people like myself are a dying breed. Like, in Call of Duty, people will equip the most OP gun or the gun that, let's say, other people say is the most OP gun, because it may not even be true. They'll just go on what other people say in the mass majority. Somebody will make a YouTube video talking about how great this gun is and how OP it is, and next thing you know, everybody's using it in game. Everybody's using the same perks in Call of Duty because they think it's going to get them kills. Everybody is so enamored with doing their own thing versus teamwork. Or people will join, game lobbies, let's say like domination, not to play domination, but just to get kills, and not play the objective. Like, they have team deathmatch. There's a game mode that's in the game specifically to kill people, but people don't play it. Why? Because they want to take the easy way out. They like to play domination because they can predict the spawns and they know what people are going to spawn at. They want the easy, they want the easy way out. That they don't want to try. They don't want to work at anything. To me, and I'm not saying my way is the greatest way out there. It's not. But, and like I said before, I know everybody plays plays games for their own various reasons. A lot of people just want to jump on and have a fun game of multiplayer. But you can do that and not screw over somebody else. To me, besides skill being taken out of the games and people not even trying no more, there's no honor in video games now. Like, I remember when I was coming up in video games, when multiplayer games were starting to pick up. Halo was one of the bigger games on console, but it wasn't the only game. You had games like Ghost Recon, and other multiplayer type shooters that were becoming popular, but they weren't, let's say, as big as how Halo was. And then COD came out, and that was the same way. They weren't as big as COD, but that generation that grew up, let's say, before COD 4, or even when let's say from Modern Warfare 2 and back, when shooters, there was like an honor code most of the time. Probably less so in Call of Duty with people noob tubing and using one-man army, but most of the older games like Ghost Recon, the older Halo games like Halo 3 and back, there was an honor code where people didn't use certain guns. Like if it was an OP gun, guess what? You didn't use it because you wanted to prove how much good you were without using a gun that was like glitched or OP or completely over dominating somebody else. You wanted to prove yourself over somebody else to make that other person believe you're the better player. You saw it a lot in Halo. COD, you kind of sort of saw it. You knew the good players from the bad. but COD was more of the casual shooter. It was still the same type of game it is today, but now it seems like you have more people who play shooters. And I don't want to say that they're kids, because I used to say that. I used to be like, oh, well, they're a bunch of kids. It's not just kids that's doing it. Like, I'm 32. You got people my age and older who play the game like shit because they still play with that selfish mentality. And that's really what it is. It's like the gaming population is so saturated with selfish people that people who play games, they would rather play for themselves, even though they're playing with other people, and then they don't want to help those other people. Like, there are people who will jump in a lobby, see that the other team is a clan, and just immediately back out. Don't even look at their KDs. Granted, I don't think KDs mean anything, but most people in Call of Duty check KDs for some weird reason. But they won't check none of their weapons that they use. They'll just back out and leave because they automatically assume that, oh, these guys are strong and I want to get my stuff. I don't want to get beat. It's like it's like gamers, or these selfish gamers I'm talking about. It's like you don't have no pride no more. Like, I remember when I was it was on 360, let's say 3 or 4 years ago. I was playing Modern Warfare 2 with friends of friends, because they weren't my friends, but I knew them from other people. And that same situation happened. We was playing Modern Warfare 2, and I was a part of the party with this other guy who was a friend of a friend, and let's say 3 people he played with, versus this other clan of people that popped into a lobby. And what I said before happened. He just immediately backed out and was like, oh, I don't want to play a clan. Now, I'm sitting there like, I was going to bite my tongue, but I've never been somebody to bite my tongue, even in real life, when it comes to things I feel strongly about. But I was like, I had to call him out on his bitchness. I was like, what the hell are you backing out for? Fuck their clan. Let's stomp their clan into the ground. Like, why you being a little bitch? But that's the type of mentality that I see permeating, multiplayer games nowadays. Like, people trolling other people who don't even, they'll jump in a game and stay in a match knowing that their team is down a man only to get those fucking crypto keys like they were doing at the beginning of Black Ops 3. It's like people spawn trapping. Like, all right, it's fun to do it for a little bit, don't get me wrong, but not every damn match you play. You know what I'm saying? Or people who only play specific game modes just because they know it's easy enough to pad their KD. It's like, I want this whole generation that grew up with the 360 to grow some balls. That's what I want. Maybe I'm the only one who feels this way, but I wish that old school mentality, that honor system, that pride that gamers used to have, 10 years ago, I wish we still had it. Because then I think maybe the industry would be better for it, rather than having games that come out and they be shit, but people still buying the same bullshit, so companies still gonna keep giving it to them. Like Call of Duty with the supply drops and the weapons and the camos, and the Destiny and the overpriced DLC and the lack of story content and the bullshit that comes along with that. It's the newer generation of gamers, besides being selfish and less prideful and less team oriented, it's like they're more willing to accept bullshit when it's fed to them, and they're quick to justify reasons for the bullshit rather than calling companies out on their bullshit. Like, prime example, I'm thinking about getting The Division when it drops. Only reason, probably because I do YouTube and because I have the money to get it. It's not hurting me. Do I think it's worth it? Hell fucking no. I haven't even played it yet. But just the fact that everybody is referencing that game to Destiny is enough to turn me off of it. Because I'm somebody who bought Destiny twice, knowing it was garbage, only because I had the money to do it, and there was nothing else out, to play. And I specifically wanted to play with one friend of mine. So I bought 2 copies of the game. Knew I didn't like it going in, but I already knew that going in. It's just, it is what it is. Do I think that game's worth $60? Hell no. Can it be fun? Hell fucking yes. Is it worth $60? Fuck no. It's companies will continue to push out bullshit to you if you let them do it. And maybe that's what the core of my rage is all about, is this younger generation is letting itself become stagnant, and it seems like it's becoming more and more stupid or less prideful, more selfish, and it's I don't see it going anywhere no time soon if people don't change. I mean, I'm hoping that the gaming generation, let's say it's like a style of clothes or a style of music. Yeah, pride and skill and everything, that was big in the early thousands with shooters and multiplayer games. And then it kind of became, and now we're in like the casual generation, where everything's easy and less skillful and all of that shit. I'm hoping that after a few years it'll stop, and then that prideful cycle will come back again. Like style of clothes and music. That's what what I was talking about before. Whereas like every few years, music will change, styles of clothing will change, but eventually it's gonna come full circle and come back around, and you're gonna see it again. That's what I'm hoping the gaming generations do. But the thing that kind of makes me fearful of it is that as long as this newer generation of gamers is more accepting to bullshit, whether it be on players' side or on a company pushing a bad game to them, until that changes, until they man up and say, no, look, we want a better game, I don't think it's going to change. To be honest, YouTube, I really don't. And that's because companies, unless they have a financial reason to do something, they won't. Like, for example, Call of Duty. They just brought in new guns into the supply drops, and they clearly said they wasn't. But anybody who knows anything about, Call of Duty or knows anything about business companies, you knew that shit was coming ever since day one. And they're going to keep doing that because people keep buying their game. Because why should they change? They can, sell you a game case with a piece of dog shit in it, and people still gonna buy it. It's just until people man up, grow some balls, and don't buy their game or don't patronize their product. Don't say, look, don't have this perk in the game, don't have these weapons balanced like this. Don't change the game like in Halo's thing. Don't change the game, or do change it, but change it in this way. Until people man up and ask for change and demand it, really demand change versus asking for it, I don't see it's going to change anytime soon. I'm hoping it does, but I just don't see it. But anyway, guys, sorry for rambling on for about 18 minutes. I swear I meant this to be like 7 minutes. But if you guys have stayed on for this long, I really do appreciate it. As always, please be on the lookout for more commentaries from me. My name is Denonu, the man with the most biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next commentary. Peace out.